In September 1944, high above the skies of Borneo, Major Richard Ira Bong eased his P-38 Lightning into a shallow dive. The twin Allison engines purred with a combined 3,000 horsepower as he scanned the skies below through his bulletproof windscreen. Far beneath him, Japanese fighters scrambled toward a formation of American B-24 Liberators, completely unaware that death was already descending. They had no idea the man above them was the deadliest fighter pilot in American history, a soft-spoken farm boy from Poplar, Wisconsin, who had already sent dozens of enemy planes tumbling from the sky. By the end of the war, he would claim 40 confirmed aerial victories, making him the highest-scoring fighter ace the United States has ever produced. That record still stands today, nearly 80 years later. Richard Bong's journey to becoming America's top fighter ace did not begin with glory. It started with disciplinary trouble. After graduating from Luke Field in Arizona, Bong was sent to Hamilton Field in California for further training on the P-38 Lightning. It was there that he performed unauthorized low-altitude aerobatic stunts over San Francisco Bay. His actions were dangerous and strictly forbidden. His commanding officer, General George Kenney, issued a harsh reprimand. But instead of seeing only recklessness, Kenney saw something else. He saw raw talent. He saw a young pilot with superb reflexes, natural aircraft control, and a rare sense of spatial awareness. Rather than ground him, Kenney gave Bong more training and began watching him closely, believing he had the potential to become something extraordinary. By late 1942, Bong was assigned to the 9th Fighter Squadron of the 49th Fighter Group and deployed to New Guinea as part of the 5th Air Force. He entered a war zone filled with experienced and dangerous opponents. Japanese pilots were hardened veterans, many of whom had fought since the invasion of China in 1937. But Bong had an advantage. He flew the revolutionary P-38 Lightning, an aircraft with a unique twin-boom design, 2 engines, tricycle landing gear, and nose-mounted firepower. It was fast, powerful, and capable of climbing higher and diving faster than most Japanese aircraft. However, the P-38 was not built for traditional dogfighting. Could not outturn the nimble Japanese Zero. Many American pilots who tried to match the Zero in a turning battle paid for it with their lives. Bong understood this early on. He refused to engage on the enemy's terms. Instead, he used the P-38's strengths. He climbed for altitude. He built speed. He attacked from above with devastating force. Then he broke away before the enemy could react. His approach was based on tactics, not aggression. His focus was not on dramatic maneuvers but on results. As his combat experience grew, Bong developed a pattern. He stalked his targets with patience, moved into position carefully, and fired short, controlled bursts. His shooting was deadly accurate. He mastered deflection shooting, the ability to predict where a moving enemy aircraft would be by the time his bullets arrived. It was a skill that most pilots struggled with. Bong made it look easy. By July 1943, over La, New Guinea, Bong demonstrated how far he had come. During an attack on a Japanese bomber formation, he didn't dive immediately. He waited, gained altitude, and struck only when the enemy was exposed. He destroyed multiple aircraft in minutes. Then he vanished. His kill count rose quickly. So did his reputation. By November 1943, with 21 confirmed victories, Bong was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross and sent back to the United States for a war bond tour. The American public embraced him as a national hero. But Bong wasn't interested in fame. He wanted to fly. He requested to return to combat and was back in New Guinea by March 1944. Now flying the upgraded P-38J model, he had better engines, improved cockpit heating, and hydraulically boosted controls that made the plane even more effective in combat. The war had changed. Japanese pilots were now younger and less experienced. Meanwhile, American pilots had more flight hours, better training, and superior equipment. Bong continued to lead missions, often escorting bomber formations deep into enemy territory. He relied on high altitude, speed, and surprise. He coordinated attacks carefully and avoided unnecessary risks. When he engaged, he did so with surgical precision. He didn't fire unless the target was in the kill zone. His ammunition usage remained remarkably low, yet his success rate stayed high. One mission in April 1944 stands out. Above Hollandia, Bong led a group of fighters escorting bombers when they were intercepted by Japanese aircraft. Using his signature tactics, he positioned his flight at altitude, waited for a break in the enemy formation, then dove in with overwhelming speed. His concentrated firepower ripped through enemy planes before they had time to respond. Even when his own aircraft sustained damage, Bong kept flying. On one occasion, with a hit engine and reduced power, he continued fighting and still scored kills before safely returning to base. By June 1944, Bong had surpassed Eddie Rickenbacker's World War I record of 26 victories. His total stood at 28, and he was now America's top ace. General Kenny, worried about losing such a valuable figure, tried to keep him out of combat. Bong resisted. He wanted to keep flying. Kenny eventually allowed him to participate in only high-priority missions and ensured he was protected by experienced wingmen. But even with these limitations, Bong's kill count continued to climb. In October 1944, during a Japanese counterattack over Borneo, Bong led a formation of P-38s against a large enemy force targeting American bombers. He timed his attack perfectly, using the sun and altitude to his advantage. Within minutes, several enemy planes were destroyed. During this mission, his plane sustained serious damage, including engine hits. Most pilots would have broken off immediately. Bong didn't. He shut down the damaged engine, activated fire suppression, and kept fighting. He returned to base with a plane riddled with holes and barely flyable. But he had won the engagement. By December 1944, Bong had reached 40 confirmed victories. At the direct order of General Douglas MacArthur, he was permanently removed from combat duty. He was too valuable to risk. His final mission was flown on December 17th, a routine patrol with no enemy contact. Bong returned to the United States a hero, recipient of the Medal of Honor, the Distinguished Service Cross, and numerous other honors. But his legacy was more than medals. It was in the tactics he developed, the crews he protected, and the standard he set for future fighter pilots. His combat footage became part of training manuals. His methods were studied and taught. Altitude advantage, energy management, precise gunnery, and disengagement discipline became pillars of American air combat doctrine in the Pacific. Japanese pilots who survived the war later described American fighters who were methodical, precise, and extremely difficult to counter. They were describing Bong's influence. In 1945, Bong transitioned to a new role as a test pilot for Lockheed. He was assigned to fly the new P-80 Shooting Star, America's first operational jet fighter. On August 6, 1945, he took off from Burbank, California, for a routine test flight. Shortly after takeoff, the jet's fuel pump failed. The engine died at low altitude, leaving no time for recovery. Bong attempted to bail out but didn't have enough altitude. The jet crashed. He was killed instantly at just 24 years old. That same day, across the Pacific, the B-29 Enola Gay dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. Bong's death, once a headline, was quickly lost beneath the news of a new kind of warfare. Today, at the Richard I Bong Veterans Historical Center in Superior, Wisconsin, visitors can see his Medal of Honor, his flight logs, and a restored P-38 Lightning bearing the name Marge after his fiancée. General Kenny, who mentored him from the beginning, later said that Bong's strength was not in aggression, but in flawless execution. He made combat look easy by mastering the fundamentals. He flew 200 combat missions. He was never shot down. He never lost a wingman in air combat. His success came not from recklessness, but from discipline. The skies over the Pacific are quiet now. The wreckage of war has faded into the jungle. But Richard Bong's record remains. 40 confirmed aerial victories. Still unmatched. Still untouchable in an era of long-range missiles and radar-guided warfare. Bong proved that in aerial combat, precision, patience, and perfect timing